to. Ooh, I had the weekend off, and oh my goodness, I was sleeping. I'm like, a charger. I was like, what? What is that? It looks a little grainy. Let me see if I can fix that for you. And then what? Nisi, girl, act like you up. I'm like, play, honey, play.
The official narrative of the Charlie Kirk case is that on the evening of September 11th, 2025, Tyler Robinson turned himself in to the Washington County Sheriff's Office.
Right.
According to the FBI, the walls began closing in on Tyler after surveillance footage was released and Tyler's parents began asking questions.
Shortly after that 8 p.m. release, at 10 p.m. local time, the suspect was in custody. Why? Because the father informed us, pursuant to an interview of him, that he looked at...
Pursuant to an interview with him. What did Cash Patel just say? Pursuant to him. What did Cash Patel just say? Pursuant to who?
Video that...
The official narrative of the Charlie Kirk case is that on the evening of September 11th, 2025, Tyler Robinson turned himself in to the Washington County Sheriff's Office. According to the FBI, the walls began closing in on Tyler after surveillance footage was released and Tyler's parents began asking questions.
Shortly after that 8 p.m. release, at 10 p.m. local time, the suspect was in custody. Why? Because the father informed us, pursuant to an interview of him, that he looked at the video that we...
Pursuant to an interview with him. You were trying to interview the father? Does that even make sense?
Released that evening, and the enhanced photos, and identified the suspect.
By 7:57 p.m., Tyler Robinson had confessed to his friends in a Discord chat, and by 10 p.m., he had been arrested. Case closed. Or is it? Buried deep in the case files, Baron Coleman discovered a detail so important that pulling on this thread could unravel the entire case. Could this be the reason that the Washington County Sheriff's Office declined to turn over the footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in when asked by a journalist? That is up for you to decide. In today's video, I talked to Baron Coleman about his discovery and how this could impact the upcoming Tyler Robinson trial.
One thing I see constantly, people who take amazing care of their face but completely forget about their neck and chest. And that's where age really starts to show.
I mean, he was trying to...
Hi, Baron. Thank you so much for sitting down to do this podcast with me.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Second time on the Nisi Social Show. I couldn't be more excited.
Yes, I can officially say friends to the channel.
Yes, a friend of the channel. Okay, good.
Friends to the channel. So you have been uncovering some very interesting things as it pertains to the Tyler Robinson case. That's why I wanted to reach out to you to explain to the audience this thing that you found that's very significant with the Discord messages that was supposedly sent by Tyler Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we discovered was buried in an old pleading was a reference to a bait-stamped video. And in the old pleading, the bait-stamped video did not have a date on it. And it turns out that's pretty relevant as the case develops.
Just remind everybody of the timeline of events so they can understand the significance of all of it. So, hold on, let me remove that. So this is the Discord message. So the screenshot that I have has 8:57 p.m., but I believe the correct time in Utah time was 7:57 p.m.
That's
Am I
correct.
on that?
You are. It was screen capped in Wisconsin, which is on Central Time, so you have to subtract an hour for Utah.
That was Monkey is supposedly Tyler Robinson's Discord account, and it says, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a share friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything." So this is Tyler Robinson moments before turning himself in Washington County confessing in a Discord message to his friends that he was involved. And this is very significant because we have reason to believe that he could not have been the person who sent this message. And Barron discovered that when going through some court documents.
Right. The timeline don't add up. If he sent that, remember, we watched this episode with Barron. Remember, Barron said, how was he arrested and then transported, but then sending this? Go ahead. Let me just let
This is the motion where the defense was trying to make the argument that the media should not be allowed in the courtroom.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, they were making a motion that the pretrial publicity and trial publicity would be too much to overcome for Tyler Robinson, so they wanted to keep all the cameras out.
Can you just explain to the audience what is significant about this portion of the document?
Well, this was buried in a 250-something page document that was filed in March, and it initially came to my attention that the 6:25 p.m. timestamp was really not relevant to the discussion. And why was it in there? And so I started digging into it and thinking, well, if the defense put 6:25 p.m. in there, maybe they were trying to tell us that it was 6:25 p.m. on September 11th and not 6:25 p.m. on September 12th. Because the conclusion everybody initially had was he would have been Mirandized in Utah County on September 12th, on the afternoon or evening of September 12th. But
Let's just remind everyone the difference, because Tyler Robinson lives in Washington County.
Oh, yeah.
The jurisdiction where the crime happened was in Utah County. That's where UVU is. They are almost 4 hours apart by car. So the theory of the case is that he leaves his home in Washington, drives almost 4 hours to UVU, does the crime, drives back, and he turns himself in Washington, but because it's not within jurisdiction, he has to eventually be brought back 4 hours away to Utah County. So the feds are telling us that this conversation happens the next day on September 12th in Utah County.
Well, let me just add that I don't know that the feds have ever said it took place in Utah County the next day. The feds haven't said anything.
Paramount Tactical says that.
Yeah, okay, the feds. But we repeat ourselves.
The feds. I reiterate. I stand by my statement. I said what I said.
Yeah, and I did find it really curious that they all keyed in on this in an attempt to save the federal narrative when the feds have never made that claim that this took place on September 12th. But all the people supporting the Fed slap narrative, they jumped into action to demand that everybody believe this took place on September 12th, when the federal government, the Utah state government, the county attorney's office, nobody else has made that claim except the hangers-on and the TPUSA supporters and the Fed slop. Tyler Robinson did it by himself, people.
Editor Nissi here. So I realize that this may be a little confusing, so let me just explain very quickly. The official narrative is that Tyler Robinson turned himself into the Washington County Sheriff's Office after 8 p.m. on September 11th. Because the crime happened in Utah County, Tyler Robinson had to wait a couple of hours for an officer from Utah County to drive to Washington County. The officer arrives at 10 p.m. and Tyler Robinson was officially arrested. Tyler Robinson then had to be driven to Utah County where he was booked. At some point in this process, Tyler Robinson was Mirandized. The question is, when did it happen? Was it 6:25 p.m. on September 11th when he was in Washington County, or was it 6:25 p.m. on the 12th when he was in Utah County? That's why this Bates number is so significant. That's why this Bates number lends itself to support your theory that this conversation happened on the 11th when he was in Washington County, not on the 12th in Utah County.
Yeah, because when we saw this first show up in March, that Bates stamp number meant nothing because there was no reference to when it was recorded. It was just in there. It looked like an identifier, like, hey, Judge, if you want to go back and watch the video yourself, that's where you would find it. It wasn't until a later motion was filed that we discovered what that Bates stamp number meant and what date it correlated to.
All right, and so if we go to the exhibit list, sorry, we're all over the place. Let's see if we can explain this in a very succinct manner.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to do commercial sound bites, and then you can clip it up later.
So 3996R1, right? So we know that this is a video that was taken at Washington County, what does that still stand for? Sheriff's Office,
Yeah,
right?
Washington
Sheriff's Office on September 11, 2025. So this is the number that references that video. 399R6, 3996R1, and the base number here is R2. So can you explain the significance of the R2, R1?
Yeah, of course.
Oh. I'm glad I found me something to do because I had already watched this episode with Bear. I didn't know that's what she was going to be talking about. With Bear. I didn't know she was actually going to be interviewing Bear with this about this bait stamp to be connected. It's not connected. Because I thought it was gonna be like some new information. Let me see what Wolves of Finance is talking about real quick. Okay, I know Dan Barron. Obviously, let me check in and give myself a thumbs up. Obviously, let me check. Wolves of Finance was supposed to drop today as well. Wolves of Finance was supposed to drop today as well. See what I mean? It's a lot going on. Ooh, excuse me. See what I mean? So where is Zach? I thought Zach dropped today. Younger May dropped a freestyle Friday. Corey Richards. He covered Corey Richards. Adrian covered Corey Richards. Riding Mango. She dropped 2 hours. It ain't like she said anything new. It ain't like I heard something had happened with Trump Friday. Oh my God, where is Zach? Friday. I heard about it. I heard about it. I was like, again? Let me see if he dropped a video today. Shocking work on new footage from Ukraine. Okay. See what I mean? Like, come on, you guys. I don't even want to hear about Corey Richards either. Let me do this. John, I'm gonna go back to Nisi and Barron. Just scroll the algorithm. Give me a second real quick. Let me see something. Who is that dear white face again? Oh my goodness. Okay. Zach. Why would he do this? Why would he do this? And like, I'm over here struggling. And Zach and Kevin from Just Thought Lounge dropped his video today for members only. Oh, the audacity. The audacity. Look, he dropped a video, members only. Anaya Blanchard. Do we know who Anaya is? Have I even ever heard that story? Oh, just the audacity that he would do this to us on a Sunday. What does that mean? We have to wait till like Thursday? What? He was supposed to have dropped that yesterday. Members were supposed to get the video yesterday, and we get ours on on Sunday. I mean, it's just so upsetting. I don't even want to watch anything. Definitely don't want to watch 2 hours of Rotten Mango saying the same old thing about David and Celeste. Let me see if Armand, did he go to the whatever he had going on. Let me see. I'm just gonna find me something to do. Like, okay. What's another delay? Let me see what Uncle John doing real quick. Just give me a second. Since he ain't got nothing going on for Memorial Day tomorrow. Which I totally understand. I ain't even got nothing going on tomorrow either. I bought me some little garden fences that I might install tomorrow.
Value by around $10,000 using only $100. The first thing I had to do was find a problem, and it was sitting right on top of my porch because these old weathered boards had the whole house looking tired. And honestly, my wife been complaining about this porch forever, and I'm finally getting around to do something about it, but there was one obstacle in my way. I had to try and do everything in one day. At first I was planning to replace every board, but once I looked at the time, I just knew that wasn't gonna happen. So instead of building a whole new porch, I decided to just paint it. And once I saw how fast that changed everything, I knew I had time for one more upgrade, so I got straight to work. But to help you fix your algorithm, you're gonna have to watch part 2 of this video to see that. I'm about...
What? Did you drop it already? Let me see. Okay. Let me see what.
So I'm about to show you how to do your own landscaping instead of calling somebody else to do it. Because it's 2026, money tight right now, and gas real high, and ain't nobody got the time or money to be paying somebody else over $1,000 to do it. And today I'm doing this for my wife, and she ain't paying me a dime, but since she my wife, I figured I'd do it for her for free. Now if you watch this whole video, you want to learn how to do landscaping the easy way, and you might actually fix your algorithm too. Because instead of sitting around on your phone watching nonsense all day, you might start watching stuff that actually teach you something. But anyway, y'all, everything you watching me do probably took around an hour and a half to get done. And if you wondering what the machine was that I got started with, it's called a mini skid steer, and you can rent one from just about any hardware store. That way you can save your back, your time, and probably your whole attitude. But if you just getting here, you might not know that this is
already got the decor coming. Stop playing with her in the back. You know she
two of a porch upgrade.
She already got the chairs. Oh, decor. Oh, okay. So what? You just painted it. You could have gave me another coat on that paint. You could have gave me another coat. on that paint. Like,
And if you go back to part
it would've been
one,
nothing for an extra coat.
how I took this porch from shambles and made it a diamond.
I mean, an extra coat would have been just fine. I like the rug. I remember I seen when he built that, I believe. Okay, sofa, fan, ooh, plants, ooh, swing, ooh, fans. Okay, books, magazines, okay. She nice. Okay, come on with that music. I don't know what that is, but don't do that. Child, I love me some Uncle John. Love me some Uncle John. Child, they want you to talk about the UFO sightings. Why y'all dropping them now? Y'all have denied them for the last 10, 20 years. Now all of a sudden, you know what? UFO sighting. Don't. I don't have time for this today. I don't have time for this today with this UFO stuff. I really don't. Let me see what's going on over here.
Mosquito around your home, guaranteed. And the great thing is, it's 100% safe for honeybees and butterflies. And once you find out what it is, you'll never fight mosquitoes the same way again. Let's go. Today, we're going to show you the safest, most effective way to get rid of mosquitoes in and around your home. Let me tell you something. It's safe for your pets, and it's also safe for honeybees, butterflies, whole 9 yards. And it's super easy. And let me show you. I want you to get you one of these little buckets right here. And you can get these. We got this one at
Home Depot.
Home Depot. We like Home Depot. We like Lowe's.
And
I love me Home Depot.
Supply.
That's right. We like those kind of places. That's just who we are. We got an orange one because guess what, Mackenzie?
Why?
Color matters. So get you an orange one, get you a black one, or get you a red one. Don't get a white one or any other color. Get orange, red, or black, okay? I want you to start off with this, and then we're gonna put some water in it. So let's go do that real quick. We're gonna fill this thing half full of water. Does that look good enough, Mackenzie?
Yeah.
Let's stop. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, the next thing you want to do, you want to get some
grass
old
patches.
limbs, grass clippings, leaves, something like that, and we're going to put it in that bucket. So let's go do
I
that.
got a lot of that.
All right, it's not going to take much. So now let's go put it in that bucket. We're going to create something that's going to kill these mosquitoes dead. You know why?
Because we're straight up killers.
All right, put this in the water. Now, don't put too much debris in here. We want it to be kind of swampy, but we don't want it to be too swampy. Put a little bit of this trash in here. And now here, let me show you the secret ingredient, what we're going to add next.
Dad, do we have to mix this around in there?
No, you don't have to mix this around. Just stick it in there, let it float on top, and you're going to be completely fine.
What do the dead plants do to the water?
The grass clippings, the leaves are going to help make this more attractive for the mosquitoes, because mosquitoes are going to lay their eggs in water. They can lay their eggs in as little as a cap full of water. We're going to create a place that's going to be attracted to these mosquitoes to want to lay their eggs, but when they do, guess what? It kills them. But you want to add something else to this mix to make it effective. Then I'm going to show you where to place it, because guess what?
Placement matters.
This is the product that you want to get
Mosquito
right
bits.
here. It's mosquito bits. You can buy this at Home Depot, Lowe's.
Ooh.
This is about $17.
Okay.
I'm going to put a
Not
link in the
bad.
description below if you want to check it out. We use this in our mosquito programs with our company that we go out to our customers every single month. And this is going to be a game changer for you.
Will birds and other animals be attracted to this?
This is going to be safe for birds and animals. Also, too, get this. It's safe for fish.
For fish?
Yeah, for fish. You can use this in your fish ponds as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is completely safe.
So what is it though?
This right here has a product called BT. It's a natural occurring bacteria. And what it does, when you place it in standing water, it releases this bacteria. And when the mosquitoes go to lay their eggs in the standing water, it kills those eggs. It kills that larva within 24 hours.
Wow, that's really fast, Dad.
And no, right? And this right here is going to be something that you can use all around your home. And I'm going to show you how to put it in here first, okay? Then I'm going to show you other ways to use this product around your home as well.
Gay.
Then
Hello.
we're going to level up our mosquito program. That way you can enjoy your backyard with you and your family.
How much are we putting in there?
I'm gonna show you.
Hello, how you?
Get you a spoon.
Is that mom's spoon?
Yeah, and don't you say a word or I'm in trouble. All right, all you want to do is get you one heaping spoonful of this stuff right here and put it in.
Okay.
And that's all you got to do.
That's it.
That's it. Now the mosquitoes are gonna die. They also make these mosquito dunks for larger areas like ditches, low areas in your yard that actually hold water for a long time. You can take one of these dunks and just toss it in the ditch. It will cover 100 square feet.
How long will this last?
This is gonna last anywhere from 14 to 28 days. Then you're gonna have to reapply this product in the buckets. Let me show you where to put this out. And then I got something else I want to show you how we can level this up to make it last just a little bit longer. Okay, let's go put it over here away from where we like to hang out, because we like to hang out around the pool, underneath the patio and things of that nature. I want to get it away from us. I'm going to show you something you can put around your patios that's going to keep them away. Completely safe for honeybees and butterflies.
Me and mom love to hang out in the front porch after she gets done with work. Isn't that right, Dad?
Y'all like to do needle pointing together. I don't know. It's a thing between mother and daughter. They love it. And they do some pretty cool stuff. If you have a shed like this with a little overhang, this is a perfect place to put one of these buckets. Mosquitoes are going to find that bucket. They're going to be drawn to that. One, the color, and two, you're going to create that environment with the leaves and the grass clippings, and also that BT is going to release carbon dioxide, which is going to draw them to that area too, and they're going to lay their eggs, and this is going to keep them from hatching out. What you can do is you can make multiple buckets and you can place them around your property. Now, if you have an overhang like this, a porch or a pole barn, and you know that water is not going to get into that bucket, because the more water that gets into it, you know what happens, Mackenzie?
Does it dilute it?
Yes, it dilutes it. And so you got to add more mosquito bits in it as it gets diluted. I got something I want to show you. It's really cool that you can put out in your flower beds, and it's simple and it's easy to do. Let's go. All right, if you want to lay this bucket out in the flower beds and it's going to get rain in it and you don't want to get too much water, then take this little lid right here that comes with that bucket. You're going to get some wooden dowels, and then you're going to create a little shelter. See how I have the lid? I made these little legs.
Right.
All I did was screw it into the top of it. Now watch this. Now check that out. Bam! That's genius, baby. Now is it when it rains, this is going to be safe. It's not going to get too much water. It's going to cover this up. Mosquitoes are going to be able to go in there and lay their eggs, and then it's going to be extremely effective around your home. If you want to put them out in your flower beds like that, this is what I would recommend. Have some type of cover over them.
Why is this 20 minutes? You should have sped this up. Just let them talk.
This is super easy. You can get these little wooden dowels for a few bucks at Home Depot or Lowe's. You just screw them into the top, and that's it. I mean, if I can do it,
anybody can do it, y'all.
What I'm saying, super easy, super effective.
I know some of y'all are going to take the easy way out and just put the bucket on top and screw some holes in it and hope the mosquitoes come. But trust me, they're not going to come to it.
That's a good point, Mackenzie. Some people are going to want to just drill some holes in the top and let them go in there and do their thing, but that's not going to be effective. This is going to be the best route for you, okay? And also, too, if you got any mosquito solutions that you like to do around your home, put them in the chat below. We would love to hear from you. You may have something else.
Why would I need to put it in the chat if it ain't effective? I mean, not as effective as this. Look at Madison Lord. Madison want me to create her a tribute, so I gotta make her a picture tribute. So,
Be effective too. That can be helpful to somebody that's watching this video.
Dad, you know mom's not gonna like that this bright orange bucket is in the middle of her flower bed.
Okay, you're right. You know your mom, she's not gonna go for this right here. So you can just hide it anywhere in these bushes like this. Hide it behind a bush. Check this out. It's gonna be effective over here either way. There you go. Look at that. Hey, and guess what? If that crazy golden doodle of yours likes to try to get in that, it's not going to hurt her at all. It's going to be completely safe. And that right there is hidden.
Oh my gosh. Please.
Ruh-roh. At least I didn't fall off a ladder.
Oh my gosh.
See, I don't think your mama can see that.
She can see everything, but that's a lot better.
Yeah.
She's picky,
Yeah,
ain't she?
she's got eyes on the back of her head. All right, mama, if you watching this video, we love you.
Alice likes to get into every
child, let me go back to Niecy. It's called multitasking. That's what it's called. It's called multitasking.
If you do 25 leg raises a day, your apron belly will go bye-bye. If you do 25 leg presses a day, your peach will get nice and toned. If you do 25 arm curls a day...
Yeah, of course. So the R2 and the R1 can be disregarded. The important number is the bait stamp number itself, not the letters and the suffix, what they call a suffix that follows. The 3996 is the bait stamp number. Every video in Discovery gets its own bait stamp number. So if you have a security footage from Washington County, that will get a bait stamp number. If you have security footage from Utah County, that will get a separate bait stamp number. That is the legal standard. That is what lawyers all pretty much universally agree is the way Discovery is conducted. You identify particular sources by a particular bait stamp number. You will add a suffix to that number, R1, R2, R3, for clips that originate from that larger bait stamp number document, R3996, or a redacted version. Maybe you have to blur out somebody's face, or you have some private information, or you have to mute it for some reason at a particular time. That tells the judge it comes from 3996, but it's a version of 3996.
So we know that the conversation that is happening here is a version of the original video that was taken on September 11th. So that would therefore indicate that this conversation happened on September 11th, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way I think you can logically read this.
Right.
And again, I think it's important that the lawyers involved in the case have never disputed that. The government officials involved in the case have never disputed our interpretation on this. The only people who have ever come along to dispute it are hangers-on who are desperate to salvage this Tyler Robinson did it alone narrative.
So now going through this conversation, so we see here that it happened at 6:25 p.m. This time is significant because we know that that Discord message was supposedly sent at 7:57 p.m. Utah time. So that would indicate that this gentleman was having a conversation with law enforcement, said,
Right.
I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
I want to see a lawyer.
Right.
And then an hour later went into his phone, which he shouldn't have because he was in custody, but he assumed he had his phone. He then texted his friends confessing to the crime while sitting in the police station
Yeah.
after telling the police he wanted a lawyer. It defies logic.
It does, because when you assert your Fifth Amendment right, you it's a whole series of things that come along with that. When you say, I want a lawyer, I don't want to be questioned, it's not
Immediately.
just the specifics of the crime. It's everything surrounding it. It's anything that could reasonably implicate you in the crime. And right here, if you look at the text of that, he never says, I am the person who killed who killed Charlie Kirk. Those words aren't in there. But he did say it was me at UVU yesterday. That could mean it was me driving around in the car, as you've seen on the news. It was me walking down the street, as you've seen on the news. We don't know what he meant by it was me at UVU yesterday. but we can reasonably assume, because he's asserting his Fifth Amendment privilege, that the "it was me" means that's me they're talking about on the news. That's me you're going to hear about. And it was me. The question is, could he possibly have sent this an hour and a half after telling the police, I don't want to talk about it. I want a lawyer. I don't want to implicate myself in a crime.
One tiny flaw ruins most grounding shoes, but grounded footwear fixed it. You see, most grounding shoes use a single copper rivet pushed through the sole to create conductivity, which sounds great in theory, but here's...
Yeah, it defies logic. it defies logic. A lot of things defy logic. The
What drinks are those in there? Other drinks, what are
What? Coke, I believe, and Sprite.
the text messages that were sent to Lance Twiggs, they define logic. This
Okay,
defies
stop
defies
saying
logic.
defy
To
logic
say
over
that
and
I
over
was gonna
again.
take this to my grave,
This a dude.
Mhm.
but also
Terrifying.
I hand wrote a letter confessing to it. Go read it, and then destroy it, but then show a picture. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. So,
No,
going back,
you would have to believe that he decided he was going to commit a crime of the century, take it to his grave, but before he did that, he was going to write a handwritten letter to somebody confessing, set up auto texts to someone confessing, draft many texts in the immediate aftermath confessing, go to the police station, and either shortly before or shortly after turning yourself in, write a public Discord message for all of posterity that anybody who logged into Discord would always know that you confessed.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you're this mastermind who's intending on getting away with this crime, why confess to it in so many different ways? Why implicate yourself in so many different ways? What's the point? And then to go into the police office and say, "I want a lawyer. I'm not talking."
Yeah.
all of the necessary ingredients for them to arrest him were there, except for the fact that he says, "I didn't do it."
Right.
Everything else was perfect. Oh, we found this very unique gun. We found a Discord message, and there's a handwritten note. We don't have the handwritten note, but we have a photo of it. It's been destroyed, so we don't have it. We have a photo of it. And then he went and confessed to it's
Don't say defy
it's
logic
a
again.
telenovela.
Even more absurdly, the roommate decides, I will destroy this to protect my
But
lover.
I'm gonna take a picture of it.
The handwritten note. I'm going to destroy it to protect him. But before I do, I'm going to make sure I record a copy and upload it to the cloud.
That's a very great point. If you're going to destroy it, you destroy it.
Right.
You don't take a picture of it.
Right.
These two. Okay,
Yeah.
come on. Come on.
So,
Wrap it up.
even if we were to, besides the Bates number,
Right.
you did also pick up on some other nuances in this conversation
What?
that he was having with the officer, right? Because one of the things that he says is that his office is closed for the night. Why is
Yeah.
that sentence significant?
Well,
The
because
lawyer.
September 11th was a Thursday. Most legal offices are open Monday through Friday.
Right.
And if you turn yourself in on a Thursday and you're talking to a police officer, you might say, "Oh, the lawyer's office is closed for the night,"
Or the
indicating,
weekend.
well, they'll be back open in the morning, and then I'll get in touch with them, and then I'll have legal counsel. So just give me overnight to get in touch with the lawyer. If it's Friday night at 6:25 p.m.,
Right.
no legal office I'm aware of, I've been a lawyer 20 years or more, no legal office I'm aware of is open on Saturday morning. We don't have like legal clinics in the morning. You just open back up on Monday. If people have a problem over the weekend, they can wait. Nobody would say, "Oh, the office is closed for the night" at 6:30 p.m. on a Friday night. That's just not the verbiage you would use. Even more than that, if you look at the rest of that sentence, he says, "My parents are trying to get in touch with him."
Mm.
This particular lawyer I'm looking for. My parents are trying to get in touch with him, or however it's worded there. But that would mean he's been in touch with his parents very, very recently.
Mm-hmm.
If he turns himself in the evening of September 11th and then is not Mirandized until the next night, how does he know what his parents have been doing all day? How does he know whether his parents have been in touch with a lawyer? How does he know whether the office is still closed? It defies
Oh
logic.
my
It is
God,
logically
you
inconsistent
too.
with a Friday night,
Jeez.
September 12th, 6:25 p.m. Miranda warning.
And to add to
Okay, but
that,
y'all are blowing me with this defy logic crap now. Okay, like Let it go. Yeah, y'all weighing it out.
So, if we are to accept Paramount Tactical's version of events,
Who is doing that? We're not doing it. No, thank you, but we're definitely not. Nothing with Paramount Tactical, please.
it would mean that this conversation is happening 6:25 p.m. on the Friday night. He was detained the night before. So from Thursday night all the way till Friday night, his parents didn't try to get in touch with a lawyer. So they waited until the last moment to get a lawyer for their, and they're not going to be able to for the whole weekend. They had a full 12 hours, however many hours that is.
Yeah.
To get a lawyer, and they didn't.
Right.
This is an emergency situation. He's being implicated in killing Charlie Kirk. You knock on every fucking door you can to get a lawyer.
Ooh,
What do you mean?
Right. Well, they'll just wait until Monday, I guess. I'll just sit in the hole for the next 3 days. Let me know if you hear from them.
And to that point, last night I was reading this and I was just staring at it, and something dawned on me. Because if that same sentence, he says, told he's a pretty good attorney here. If we are to believe that this conversation happened in Utah County, he wouldn't stay here because that lawyer is in Washington.
Yeah, Doug Terry's actually a pretty universally beloved figure in Washington County, a very well-known lawyer down there, something of a local celebrity. He's now retired. He retired, I think, in December after this case was opened in September. And so it wouldn't surprise me that he would say, hey, I'm nearing retirement. I don't want to get involved. Go find another lawyer or work with the public defenders up there. But you also wouldn't refer to him as being here if you're sitting in a jail cell in Provo.
Right.
Here
Exactly.
is not 4 hours
Here's
away.
Washington.
That's Washington County, yeah.
Here's Washington. This conversation clearly happened while he was still in Washington, not the next day 4 hours away.
Right.
To me, that seems pretty obvious. And, something else that dawned on me was that, if you go to the affidavit of probable cause, well, there's a little nitpick that I want to bring up after, but at this point, like this probable cause was entered. This is like 7 o'clock in the morning on the 12th, right? Because they go by 100 hours, right? It would be, if this was 9 p.m., it would say 17 or 19.
Right.
Right, so this was early in the morning. So by early in the morning the next day, they have already spoken to Lance Twiggs, right? We here it says that investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed the roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. So they've already spoken to Lance Twiggs. They've gotten copies of messages. They've also interviewed his family members. They reference that, he was talking about the event prior to it happening. So you want us to believe you spoke to his parents, you spoke to Lance Twiggs, but you didn't speak to him. You waited until the next day to finally Mirandize him and say, hey, do you want to give a statement?
Right. Yeah.
Who after being booked, all that stuff, would then decide to give a statement? Nobody.
Yeah. It's actually worse than that, because let's say he spontaneously confesses at some point, and you've never given him his Miranda warning.
Right.
And you're talking to somebody walks by and he interprets that as interrogation, and he says, oh, I did it. I killed Charlie Kirk. You can't use it. You've not given him a Miranda warning.
Exactly.
Now you're in court arguing whether that was custodial interrogation. That's not a position a police department wants to find itself in. They give the Miranda warning early and often. They give it quick. Like, hey, get in here as soon as we've got him in custody. That's why in police shows, while they're putting the cuffs on, they're already reading Miranda warning.
Yeah. So any statement that's made after the fact is eligible to be used as evidence. Like you said, you've completely waived that possibility if you haven't given them their rights.
Correct.
Yeah, this is a little bit irrelevant, but I have to say it because I noticed it last night and it bothered me.
Go ahead, please.
In this affidavit of probable cause, they talk about the suspect climbing over a short wall. So they give the timestamp. So at approximately 12:15 hours, suspect was observed walking up the stairs that led to the common area adjacent to the Losi Center building. Suspect walked to a short concrete wall that separates the common area from the rooftop of the Losi Center building. So they're describing him climbing over a concrete wall to access the roof to go take the. There's no concrete wall.
Is there not?
There's railings.
I've not looked at it closely enough. Is there not
It's
a little?
railings.
Oh,
I
it's
have a
railing.
photo. It's railings.
Wow,
No
I did
concrete
not know that.
wall.
Mm-mm.
That's great. I
Good
didn't know
catch.
that. Is it? Could it be that little concrete wall on the far end on the other side of the railing there that kind of runs off at a 45-degree angle to the left? I don't know. I mean, that looks like it's only.
This is where he entered.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I've not looked at these photos closely enough and compared it to the language. That's great.
And so I'm like, what concrete? Because I remember vividly watching this video.
Let's see what this guy doing. I actually had to go and put him back to sleep because, you know, that guy just a cold. And then I had to go put my clothes in the dryer. Only thing that I didn't do was use the bathroom. But I did grab the rest of this Zaxby salad from out the refrigerator on my way from the dryer. And so I got a headphone in my pocket. Luckily, I was able to hear. I didn't have to pause. Just cut it down a little bit. Oh, it's down. Okay.
How he got access to the roof, only to come to realize it was like barely a roof. Because when you imagine a roof, you think you have to like go up a ladder. Like this was just, you just have to hop over the railing and you're there.
Right.
So I'm like, if you guys are not actually reporting on this, like what else is inaccurate in your documentation of what's happened? Because this is such a very obvious thing. There was no concrete wall.
It's important to note also, everybody's putting a lot of weight on these probable cause affidavits. This is not tested evidence. This is not even really looked over, edited. This is just enough to say, Judge, we've got a pretty decent basis to think you should hold this guy against his will while we let the legal process start. That's all it is. The jury's never going to see this. Parts of the arrest will be read to the jury, but not these affidavits, not these statements of fact that are included in there. And it seems like people on the other side are taking this as gospel, like God himself came and etched it into stone, and it's just not the way the things are to be read.
I ordered this viral popcorn, so you don't have to, which comes with this bowl and then 6 different flavors.
Given all that you've seen, when it comes to this and everything that you've been researching up until this point, what do you think is the likely outcome of this trial?
Ooh.
Well, I'm concerned about that. That's a really interesting question, and I do have my concerns that Tyler Robinson may not go to trial. And I think that would be a travesty because I think it would delay or deny the public's ability to find out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. I don't believe Tyler Robinson actively participated in the actual death event that killed Charlie Kirk. I don't believe that. But if you believe or have reason to believe or surmise that Tyler Robinson was there in Orem as part of a larger conspiracy to remove Charlie Kirk, then he's probably facing life without parole anyway. And if he's facing life without parole anyway, might he be willing to take a plea in order to get the death penalty off the table and confess to something he either didn't do or some sort of lesser included offense that comes with life without parole? Or even maybe they say, we just don't want to go through the trial. We don't want to do it for the victims. We don't want to, pain the community. This is going to be very devastating. It's going to rip the community apart. Let's just put it behind us. He's willing to confess he did it in order to get the death penalty off the table. So I have those concerns. I also have a very deep concern that Tyler Robinson may be in grave danger the longer this investigation drags on. They never intended, I think, if there was some larger conspiracy, I doubt they intended Baron Coleman and Nissy Social doing a podcast 8 months later,
Still talking
about what's in the probable cause affidavit and what's on bait stamp document 3996-R1 and R2 and what that means. And so the more people dig into this, I think the more danger Tyler Robinson faces, because there's a real motivation not to let this thing go to trial, not to let the investigation continue. And as long as Tyler Robinson's alive, it's going to continue.
And, going back to this conversation about whether or not that conversation happened at 6:25, and that therefore means that the Discord messages were not him. There's also some other implications, because if he was already in police custody at 6:25, he was already sitting in front of an officer. There's like other things that happened like around 8 o'clock, supposedly happened like 8 o'clock. Like, for example, you pointed out that the official narrative, like Kash Patel went on Fox News and said the parents at 8 o'clock, they saw the news coverage and they saw that this was their son hopping off the roof. He made a little joke, but that could be a Sasquatch, could be an alien, right? We don't know what it is, but they looked at it and like, that's our son. But if what you're saying is correct, he was already in custody. So that foils their whole narrative.
Yeah, and it's a whole lot of things like that. Did the sheriff call the sheriff of Utah County at 8:02 and say he's about to turn himself in? Did the parents, see the video? Why did they, if he truly was already in custody, why are they holding a press conference, releasing more footage, releasing more photographs? Why was Brian Davis already in Washington County at 10 p.m. if we didn't know he existed until after 8 p.m.? That's a 3.5 or 4 hour drive from the Salt Lake City, Provo area down to Washington County. So there's a whole lot of implications in addition to who wrote the Discord message.
Do you think that this case has something to do with why Brooksby stepped down?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I've heard the rumors that he stepped down because of some harassment allegation or whatever. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know whether it has to do with this case, whether he was fumbling it, whether he screwed up in dealing with the media, something he said in a press conference, and they were like, hey, you're too much of a risk. You've got to go. I really don't know the answer to that.
Do you think Kash Patel is compromised?
I don't want to answer that.
Ooh.
I think so.
I know, but I don't want to say it on it.
That's my opinion. I think he is. I think a lot of people are compromised. And it's if there's a conspiracy to pin this on the Patsy Tyler Robinson, I think that implies that this goes like very high up in the government, because a lot of people are in on this. Like a lot of agencies are in on this. I think it's very interesting how like unceremoniously the FBI director for that Utah area is kicked out for no good reason, and then we get a new guy, and then this happens.
There were a lot of new guys installed right before it happened, at the hospital, at the school, at the FBI, at the judge. The judge himself was brand new.
Judge Graff, yeah.
Yeah, so there were a lot of newbies in there that showed up on the scene shortly before this happened. It's the medical examiner. She's relatively new as well. So there's a lot of newness to the bureaucratic structure that encompasses this case. There's no doubt about that. And to your point of, if there was a conspiracy, it probably does go pretty high. I mean, if we're right and there's some sort of conspiratorial component to this, and that conspiratorial component had some sort of government involvement, yeah, I think you could probably start naming some pretty high-level officials as being involved. It's just whether or not that's true, we don't know at this point.
There's some theories out there that Charlie Kirk faked his death. What do you think about those theories?
I don't buy them.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, I just don't buy them. I don't. That's so far out of the realm of possibility for me that I just find it difficult to even entertain much beyond. I mean, I have entertained it. I've looked into it, but you don't have to get very far to realize that he would have to be a monster to have faked his death. I mean, an absolute monster. And I just don't think he was.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because one of the charges against Tyler Robinson is that this crime was committed in front of children. There was minors in the audience. So I don't think Charlie would ever fake his death. I don't think he would fake his death knowing that, like, especially something so graphic, knowing that there's going to be children who are going to think it's real and see it happen. To leave behind your family and everything that you've built, to me, it doesn't make sense that he would fake his death. I do see that it's a theory that some people. I've had emails sent to me. People like, you need to look into this. He's still alive. I'm like, I don't think so. I think this looked really, really real.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he?
He's in Valhalla, I guess.
Yeah.
For Kash Patel to come join him, the compromised Kash Patel.
Yeah, I don't buy that. And the reality is, if that's true, we would never know. It's like predicting the end of the world. You know, there's really no reason to do it because if it happens, your prediction no one remembers anyway because the world is over. And if it doesn't happen, you look foolish, right? So
Yeah.
there's really no reason to even entertain it.
Well, is there any other compelling information that you've come across that like further solidifies your opinion that Tyler Robinson is being framed, other than what we talked about today?
Uh-oh.
I was thinking of something while we were talking a minute ago. What was I thinking about? Give me just a second. Something crossed my mind and I was going to mention it. Oh, I don't know if you want to get into this. The spy plane that circled over Washington County, that circled over St. George. Have you looked into that at all?
I've not. I'm interested to hear about that.
I think it was 8 or 9 o'clock at night, maybe the time Tyler Robinson is supposed to have turned himself in. One of those Axel spy planes, the Hades program spy planes, left California on its way to El Paso, but it didn't fly directly to El Paso. It actually flew northeast, circled over St. George about the time Tyler Robinson was supposed to have turned himself in, and then flew south to El Paso. It's a very strange flight pattern. It's a very sophisticated, very technically advanced plane that can do a whole lot of things that would just rock people's worlds if they truly understood what some of these planes were capable of. And I just don't understand why it happened. I don't understand why a plane with those capabilities would leave California, fly directly over Washington County, Utah, fly to a very low altitude, circle, and then continue on to El Paso. It's the same class of plane that circled over Orem, Utah, shortly before and shortly after Charlie Kirk was taken down. It's a different plane, but it's the same class of plane, and it's a disturbing fact that I don't know what to make of it, but I think it's relevant for some reason.
What class of plane is it?
It's called a Hades, Hades, high altitude detection something. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So here you go. So this is this Axel 21 plane. Its tail number is November 2100 Lima. This is this Hades class of plane, Hades. If you look up what that is, it's a very, very sophisticated plane. But if you see right here, it leaves Ontario, California. Now this is listed as September 12 over here on the left. And it says it's 0200, but this is Zulu time. So you have to subtract 6 hours from Zulu time in order to get this, to get the correct time. So 6 hours would be 2000 hours, which would be 8 o'clock p.m. So this leaves Ontario, California at 8 o'clock, and you can see it continues on over here to the El Paso area. That's where the flight terminates down here. So normally to fly from point A to point B, you would just fly in a straight line from California over here towards El Paso. This is ultimately where it terminated over here. But for some reason on this night, instead of flying in a straight line, it flies up towards St. George. This is where Tyler Robinson turned himself in this hurricane area right here. And it does this loop over the area. It begins the loop and the descent, and it comes to a very low altitude. It begins the descent at 848. And then it leaves the area at 908.
Oh. Sorry, repeat that again. So it gets there at...
So it arrives on the scene. Let's go over here. It arrives in the area at 8:36 p.m. Now keep in mind, the sheriff was told at 8 o'clock, supposedly, he was called and told he's going to turn himself in.
Yeah.
That's the time this plane leaves the area right here at 8 o'clock. I mean, almost to the minute that the sheriff receives the phone call, that's when this plane leaves. And then it arrives on the scene up here in the St. George area around 8:37, 8:38, and then it does this loop over the St. George area, flying to its lowest point right here, right at 9 o'clock.
You know that Zaxby's be selling that cod Lord with that boiled egg and then that bacon. Tomatoes and the cucumbers. what is that? French onions. Oh my God! It just does something to my spirit with that light vinaigrette.
And then loops back around again, and then totally leaves the area by 9:09 p.m. This is this very critical time in the official narrative that Tyler Robinson supposedly was calling the sheriff's department through a friend saying, I want to turn myself in.
So what do you think that this plane was doing? Do you think that they get to a certain altitude so that they can communicate with people on the ground?
They have that capacity. They also can collect electronic information that's being transmitted. These planes have the ability to track people based on electronic devices in your pockets. They are, I mean, these are very, very sophisticated planes. They have AI infrastructure on board so that they can soak in a tremendous amount of electronic information on the ground and immediately begin processing it and making sense of it. These are the types of planes we read about in sci-fi novels 30 or 40 years ago. These are these planes in reality. This is what they're doing in reality. So I do not think this plane is unrelated, even if the official narrative that he did not turn himself in until after 8 o'clock is correct. That means a government contracted spy plane was dispatched from Ontario to the area at that time. Did a loop over, doing whatever spy planes do when they fly at low altitude, and then continued on to its destination after accomplishing whatever it was it wanted to accomplish. So this right here is a pretty damning piece of evidence. Even if Tyler Robinson turned himself in after 8 o'clock, even if the official Fed narrative is correct, this is still really damning evidence. It's really extra damning evidence if he was supposed to turn himself in after 8 o'clock and foiled the plan by turning himself in early, which is kind of my suspicion.
If he had to theorize, like, what do you, if Tyler Robinson is the patsy, in Barron's theory of events, like, what do you think was supposed to happen versus what happened? Because, like you said, your theory is that he turned himself in too early. So, in your version of events, what do you think was supposed to happen?
I think he was either supposed to die in a shootout, or take his own life, or be lured to a remote location where he would be murdered and have it made look like a suicide.
That would make sense why he would go to the police station. I think, as what Brooksby says, that he was afraid of a shootout at the house, especially if they're going to show up at your parents' home. You don't want your parents to be in the crossfire.
Well, and Brooksby also said that he was supposedly planning to drive to a remote location and was suicidal. And so, but that's consistent with my theory that he wasn't supposed to survive that night. And had he not survived, you and I would not be talking about this 8 months later.
Yeah.
It would have been,
the narrative would be a transfer. He did this, and that's that.
Right.
Clean, quick, easy. No one would have taken a second look at it.
That's why there is no diabetes in Israel.
There's no diabetes in Israel. If you say so. I don't know, John. I ain't been over there. That's a good point.
I still can't let go of the fact that, like, they want us to believe that this guy has a perfect shot, but he's like cross-eyed.
Well, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Yeah.
He's got impeccable aim, but imperfect eyesight. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Is he?
It's there's a lot there. I don't believe he was supposed to survive and turn himself in. I think he was supposed to.
But even if we was to believe that theory, he may have not been able to survive. How are you the patsy? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how did you become the patsy? I guess can't nobody tell me that. How are you the patsy? Because there was a lot going on with this
have passed away before.
Yeah.
That's my true, honest gut instinct. It's dark. It's a very dark conclusion, but I can come to no other conclusion. And a spy plane might have been able to assist in carrying out that operation. And maybe the spy plane was supposed to be there at that time in order to do the assisting. And then lo and behold, he's already turned himself in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Have you ever looked into the Butler, Pennsylvania thing, like to see if there was like
I don't
planes flying over
really-
Butler?
I don't really talk about it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not a case I talk about.
Okay. Let me not get you in trouble.
Yeah, please don't. I don't want to. I've never been on the record talking about that. Also, though,
I'll speak for myself. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say this: I don't believe the official story there either.
Nobody does. But there's like two camps right now. It was staged or was it staged?
Right.
Those are the two camps right now. Nobody believes the official narrative, but was it staged or was it not staged? Was that all fake and there was ketchup on his ear, or was it real?
Ketchup.
I think it was a real shooting. I don't believe that that Thomas Matthew Crooks did it, and I don't necessarily believe Thomas Matthew Crooks died in the shootout either.
Oh. What? Oh.
Wow.
So.
Why don't you believe that?
Some other way?
Because the picture that was leaked of Thomas Matthew Crooks dead up there had been altered, I believe. And there is someone else who many people believe that was on the roof who's missing. He's nowhere to be found. He has not appeared in years, and it would be so easy for him to just say, "I'm alive, guys. Stop saying this. I'm right here," and he's not.
Do you remember the person's name?
Matthew Urich.
Yes, that person. I remember hearing about that, and they did have a strong resemblance to each other.
And
then
he's not surfaced. He's nowhere to be found.
I've never looked into it. He's still missing.
Yeah, and Thomas Matthew Crooks' family has been seen in public with this random figure dressed head to toe, covered up in a hoodie, face covered, gloves. Yes, and it's not his sister because his sister does not look like that. His sister has a completely different build.
Like immediately after, they said they cremated the body, so we destroyed all the evidence.
Look,
Wow.
Look at Barrett.
Interesting.
Barrett was like, "That's why I don't believe it."
That just opens a whole can of worms. If he's still like, who contracted him? Who contracted him? What was his benefit? If in fact that's what happened, what did he benefit from participating?
I have no idea. I have no idea. You know, it's my belief that a lot of these patsies get in trouble online. You know, there are hundreds of thousands of people at any moment being investigated for crimes against children online. All of them are potential patsies because none of them want to go to prison for that crime.
Yeah.
So all of them become potential patsies.
There's that, and then there's also some people, they're too chronically online and they get brainwashed. And it's not that difficult for someone who's sophisticated, especially working for an intelligence agency, to infiltrate, an online chat or to befriend someone and to persuade them to participate or to contract them to participate in something that they probably wouldn't have done had they not been manipulated into doing it.
Well, and there's evidence of that with Thomas Matthew Crooks. There is evidence that he was one of Trump's biggest supporters. He loved Donald Trump. His social media footprint suggests that he was a rabid Donald Trump fan. And then all of a sudden, he starts communicating with some of these other people online. Tucker Carlson had a great piece on this. And instantly, he switches on a dime and he despises Donald Trump. Donald Trump is all of a sudden the enemy and cannot be reelected and is going to destroy the country. That doesn't seem very organic. That's not the natural development of a lot of Trump supporters in the year 2023 and 2024. That defies the pattern that everybody else had during that time.
Yeah, even if someone does something that you start to disagree with, to go from loving someone to I am going to plot to take them out. That's a huge leap.
Right.
That's a huge
Yeah.
leap. Very,
Right.
very drastic.
Yeah, so I think the patsies either
They wrapping
are,
it up.
as you suggest, brought in, lured in through online chatter, slowly radicalized or quickly radicalized, or they are involved in some really horrific crimes online and then approached and given a way out. You don't have to go to prison for that. We could take you to prison for that right now if you'd like, or we'll give you this option. And I think a lot of them take that option.
Wow, I have to look into that. The family walking around with this extra sibling. I have not seen that.
Go find the footage. It's wild. It's wild.
Wow,
It'd be a cool story.
wow. But the way you got all spooked when I brought it up, I don't want to talk about it now.
Yeah, I do get spooked by that one. That one spooks me more than just about any story I've ever looked at.
Do you ever get concerned covering this Charlie Kirk case?
No, because I think Americans deeply believe in the freedom of speech. We want to know the right answer. There's some people who get a little uncomfortable as you dig around a little bit, but by and large, the American public likes investigations. They like knowing what happened. They want people out there speaking the truth. And there are occasionally investigators or journalists who are removed if they get too close to a story, but this story has dozens, hundreds of different channels covering it. What do you gain by removing one person here or there? That doesn't really solve the major problem, and all it does is cause you more problems. So it doesn't really bother me. I don't look at it as something that's a legitimate threat lurking around every corner. No.
And that's one of the beauties of having a decentralized intelligence agency, is that there's so many of us who are covering it. And really, if you do something to one person, you just bring more attention to the story.
That's exactly right. There's no way to look guiltier than start removing podcasters and journalists and investigators who are covering the story. Then you look like you really did do something wrong, and something is being covered up.
Yeah. Or they just sue you. Like, what are your thoughts on the Brian Harpool lawsuit?
I think it was I don't think he was intending to win that lawsuit. I think he thought she would immediately move to dismiss it. It would be dismissed because it's such a lousily pled lawsuit. He never actually alleged a cause of action. She has an immediate, what in America we would call 12B6 motion to dismiss. I think she would be successful on that. Whether she chooses to go that route or not, that's up to her and George Farmer. But the reality is she never, in my opinion, defamed him. She just covered the story, and she interviewed somebody who had an opinion on something he thought he might have seen. He didn't even state 100% that he believed he saw Brian Harpool. The rest of it, whether or not he took enough life-saving action, that's opinion. Opinion is protected speech in the United States.
I don't eat bad for breakfast. I just don't eat. I just have coffee, and then I have my first meal at this, and then I'm like, sis, you're never going to hit your protein intake.
So do you think it's just a matter of the process as the punishment, just make her life difficult by suing?
It could be that, or it could be that people tend to believe if you say something in a lawsuit, it's true. And so he was able to get several things in that lawsuit that he wanted people to believe was true. I was not in Fort Huachuca. We did everything we could to save his life. We did everything right. We did a good job. We're a technically sound security company. He was able to get his story out. And then if she moves to dismiss it, he can say, well, that was all true. The judge just, part of the problem, this is the problem in America. People can say anything they want and get away with it. They can defame people and get away with it. And so filing the lawsuit would serve that purpose.
Thank you so much for giving me some of your time today. I know you're a very busy man. You have a lot of research. You have a lot of people who want to talk to you. So I thank you so much for squeezing me into your busy schedule.
Well, I thank you for the wonderful content you produce. I do borrow some of it sometimes and feature it on my program. It's excellent work. It's very excellent work. So I thank you for the work you do.
Look, exactly.
I do what I can. I'm just, I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah, like everybody else. For sure.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. And like I said, you do great work, so I'm happy to be here.
Look, I'm gonna have to bring you back. There's some other stuff that I wanted to ask you about, but it was separate from this. So another day.
I want to have you on my member show. I've had several people ask me to have you on the member show. I do those on Fridays. I'm doing one actually in 18 minutes with Audrey Henson from Dre
Love you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had Jesse on Fire. I've had Trigger Smart. I've had
Yeah.
Coach Colin.
Coach, yeah. You had a lot of people
Who else
on
have I
there.
had? I had Zach Costello. I've had a lot of fun people on there, and we don't talk Charlie Kirk. We just talk.
Right.
There's no program. There's no anything. It's just, how'd you get into podcast? I usually ask that question
Right.
initially. What made you get into this? And then we just sort of go. And I had Danks on last week.
Oh,
Danks gave the most amazing testimony about being down and out on his luck, homeless, hooked on heroin, dragging himself out of that by his bootstraps, getting married, having kids, getting clean, saving his marriage, relapse, rehab. I mean, it was amazing. And we didn't prep for any of that. He said, "What do you want to talk about?" I said, "I don't know. We'll see what comes up." So I'd love to have you
I'm
on.
down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down for a fun time.
I know
Whatever
there's
you
a
want me
Nissy
to talk
story.
about.
I know there's a Nissy story in there, and I want to hear it.
ooh, nice.
All of my crazy stories, all of my interesting stories are the shit ass relationships I've been in.
Well, let's talk about them. Those will be fun.
Right, that too. We can talk about.
We'll
them
shit
too.
on some shit ass people. How about that?
Exactly.
Let's do shit on some shit ass people.
There you go.
They're so cute. Exactly. That's what we want to get into, honey. Alright. Let the script go. Keep the script, honey. Let's just talk. Let's just talk. Oh my God, look at Gabe. This was 7 years ago. And he was on the news? Look at Gabe on the news.
Try a whole world of delicious Dunkin' Refreshers.
7 years was crazy.
It's nice to kind of get.
Oh, this is a news clip. Hold on. Let me.
Plan and go somewhere new.
Mud treatment.
Traveling is all about following a curiosity.
Let me just see.
It is the for a Houston fighter with a near lethal punch.
Near lethal.
Dealing with the past year since one devastating knockout.
3 turn.
Game slick.
Okay.
But what happened after his last fight hit him as hard as a brick.
For the whole time we were fighting.
I see why he on the algorithm. Look at Gabe. Let me go see it.
I heard his family. They were screaming, "Go Lula, go Lula!" That's all they were saying the whole time. So it kind of messed me up a lot by me hearing his family cheering them on. And then what happened?
For nearly a year now, Gabriel has been trying to process what happened in his last fight. In that one, he scored a TKO in the 6th round. Only his opponent never got up. Instead, he was rushed to the hospital, where he almost died from a brain injury.
I knocked him down. He got back up. I was like, man, this kid ain't stand down.
That opponent, Jesus Lule of Mexico, seen here recovering after emergency surgery, is doing better. And Gabriel says Jesus' team doesn't blame Gabriel for what occurred.
I just know what can happen.
Of guilt?
Yeah, it's a sense of guilt, that.
And for months, Gabriel wasn't sure if he'd ever strap on those gloves. Again.
So it's kind of like dawned on me, like, man, is this what you want to do? You know what I mean? But I missed it, and it's always been in me since I was a kid. So I had to get back in there and do what I love to do.
Near lethal is crazy. I'm just saying. Shout out to Gabe. He made him a little news, he got him a little news article, child, feature, whatever you want to call it, child, story. That's what's up. That was 7 years ago. And he had locks. He's struggling to get that hair to grow now. Alright, I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. Yeah. Because of course we gotta be back tomorrow. We gotta be back tomorrow. And so we might as well tread lightly. You know, you have to tread lightly. Coming back Sundays, Mondays. Maybe. Oh, I'm off tomorrow. Now that I think about it, it's Memorial Day. It is Memorial Day tomorrow. I forgot. Almost forgot. So I'm definitely finna get up off of this thing. For sure. I'm scrolling. I'm just trying to see. Let me refresh this thing here. Okay. Yeah, I'm finna get up out here. I don't want to read about Corey Richards. No. I don't care nothing about no UFO sightings. Sorry. Y'all tried to cap about it for 2 decades, 3 decades. No. They allegedly just tried to pew 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 Trump again. Even I'm like, at this point we don't know which ones is real, which ones is not. Oh my goodness. Tragic. Okay, Vibes Cartel just dropped a new song. Young M.A just dropped another freestyle. In the meantime, in between time,